In this lesson, we will be doing a practice problem for determining the excess reactant and the limiting reactant, and determining how much product you make. The strategy goes like this. They will give you the amount of each one. For example, for each reactant. For example, this is 8 scoops, this is 6 cherries, and 100 milliliters. What you will do is you will do stoichiometry from the scoops of ice cream to the sundaes, just like this. 8 scoops will make 4 sundaes. Going to do 1 stoichiometry for each reactant. 6 cherries will make 6 sundaes. 100 milliliters will make 2 sundaes. You will get 3 answers, okay? You don't make all of that. Which number should you choose? That's correct. You will choose the one with the least number produced, because once you produce it, you are out of syrup, okay? So you cross out the other numbers. Your answer is 2 sundaes. That's the amount of product you will make. And they will ask you which one's the limiting reactant. Well, which of these 3 reactants limits it? It is the syrup. The syrup is the limiting reactant, and they will ask you which one's the excess reactant, and you will say the ice cream scoops and the cherries. Okay, so here's the example. This is silicon carbide used for ceramic, used to make ceramic. This is silicon carbide right there. By allowing sand, silicon dioxide, so this is sand, to react with carbon. So here's carbon right there, C. Carbon monoxide is also formed right there. When 100 grams of sand, so sand's right here, you're going to write 100 grams here, is processed with 200 grams of carbon. So you're going to put 200 grams right here, 200 point with a dot right there, 3 sig figs. How much silicon carbide should be produced? So your question mark will be right there. Okay, so the strategy is to do a stoichiometry from here, go to moles, and go to grams. Just like you're doing stoichiometry here, 8 scoops to 4 sundaes. 200 grams to what? How much silicon carbide? Then, after you do that, you will get an answer. And what do you think you should do next? That's correct. You're going to do it again. Do another stoichiometry. Moles to moles to grams of the same thing, of the silicon carbide. You're going to get 2 answers. Are they both right? How do you know which one's right? Well, the correct answer should be the smallest one. That's what you give to everybody, right, as your answer. Once you get the smallest number, you track back and you see which one made that happen will be the limiting reactant. Okay? So let's continue. You have 100 grams of sand. I'm going to use the blue pen. So 100.0 grams of SiO2. Go to moles. 1 mole of SiO2 is grams of SiO2. Okay, so I'm going to look up Si is equal to and 2 O's. Okay, so my Si, silicon is 28.09 and oxygen 16.00. So this is 28.09. 28.09, 16.00 times 2 is 32.00, 0.09, 10, carry 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 60.09. Okay, so that's gone. Now I'm going to drop the moles of SiO2 and go to the moles. I'm going this way now of SiC. Silicon carbide. This is when I use the balanced equation. Oh, I forgot to balance it. Oh no, it's already balanced, I think, because if you put a 1 here, 1 Si, 1 Si. 2 O's, 2 O's, 3 C's, 2 plus 1, 3. Yeah. So it's 1 to 3, 1 to 2. So SiC has a 1 in front of it. SiO2 has a 1 in front of it. Okay. So that's done. Now I'm going to go to grams. 1 mole of SiC is how many grams of SiC? So this is Si is 28.09. Carbon is 12.01, is it? Let's see. 12.01, yes. Okay. 12.01, 10, carry 1, 10, 10, carry 1, 2, 3, 4, 40.10. 40.10 equals, do that math, get my calculator. So you have 100 divided by 60.09 times 40.1. I got 67. Okay, so I got 66.73. And I'm using 4 significant figures because it has 4, 4, 4. So this is grams of SiC. So it means that if I use all 100 grams of the sand, it should make 66.73 grams. But that's if I have enough carbon, you see. So let's see if I have enough carbon. It says here that I have 200 grams of carbon. So let's do some stoichiometry with that. 12.01 grams of carbon is 1 mole of carbon times, bring mole of carbon down. Now you're going to go across to SiC again. Always go to the question mark, and you're going to go to the question mark twice. Okay? And so a 3 in front of the mole of the carbon and a 1 in front of the SiC. So grams carbon, moles carbon done, times bring down the moles of SiC. 1 mole weighs 40.10 equals SiC. So plug that in. 200 divided by 12.01 divided by 3 times 40.1 equals 222. Or 223 with 3 sig figs. 223 grams of SiC. Okay, so look at this. You have 2 answers. 66.73 grams of silicon carbide and 223 grams. What that means is if you use all 100 grams of SiO2, you will make this. If you use 200 grams of this, you're going to make this. But what's going to happen is this. If you use 100 grams of sand, you will make this amount and the reaction stops because you are out of sand. You're out of sand. It will never make anything above that. It can't make 67, 68, 223 because you're out of sand. This number is not ever possible. The reason is you are out of sand, which means sand is called the limiting reactant. This right here is the reactant. You have to pick one of these two on the left side, is the limiting reactant. And the other one, you had way too much excess. So this one, the carbon, the other reactant, would be the excess reactant. Okay, so the question's asking, how much SiC should be produced? Your answer is 66.73. Which is the limiting reactant? You will say sand, SiO2. Which is the excess reactant? You will say carbon. Okay, so you go to the lab and you mix these together, 100 grams of sand, 100 grams of carbon, and you only recovered 51.4 grams. It says, if 51.4 grams of silicon carbide is recovered, So this is what you actually got in the lab. What is the percent yield? Okay, this is what you actually got. This number here using stoichiometry is what you're supposed to get. If you were perfect, theoretically means on paper, if everything was done without any error, theoretically you should make that. So the percent yield would be what you actually got divided by what you should theoretically obtain, theoretical, times 100. Okay, so the actual is 51.4, and they will always give you that because you're not in the lab right now. So the actual is 51.4 grams. That's what you actually made. You're supposed to make 66.73. You multiply that by 100, and you get 51.4 divided by 66.73 times 100 is 77.0% yield. If it were a grade, you'll get a C. Okay?